Okay guys, so you know I don't like to ramble and rant, yap, etc. So it's going to be a little bit of a challenge to get this in here in a way that makes sense. But I wanted to at least go over these fights as they happen. And what should be fairly self-evident in all three of them, I think it's three, I was being very stupid during a good portion of most of these. The first one is the only one truly worthy of commentary, though, because I'm fighting an enemy that I am reasonably used to fighting. It's the classic get in, get locks, throw missiles at you, run away build. Missile, kite, whatever you want to call it. And they work astonishingly well should you have to fall for their shenanigans, being able to close. You'll see a moment right here. Learning moment, yeah. And you just have to go through this enough times to figure out what's going on. Whether I should have known that or not upon seeing it, sure. But realistically, you got to get close enough to do damage. And yeah, by now I kind of figured out that this is all he's going to do. Now, stop this, you really only have two options. And one is, and they're both like build dependent. So if you go into the garage and you queue up with one of these guys, you don't really have a choice in how you engage the encounter because you made that choice in the garage. A lot of times you won't have a really good option. That's why stuff like this works well. But I knew I needed to get the AP lead and force him to come to me or maintain it. That's one reason you don't see me taking this first round too, I don't know, overly hostile once I got the opportunity. I just wanted to see what I could get away with. Yeah. That said, here we go. And with the second round, I'm very familiar with a lot of the, I guess, legacy knowledge of how to fight stuff like this. But I don't have the time in Armored Core 6 I should. I play this game maybe twice, sometimes 3 times a week, depending on what I'm actually doing in ranked. It's all I got time for. But that said, I understand the concepts well enough, and I've dealt, like I said, you deal with this one time, you know what to do. Here's where he makes his mistake. He comes in, tries to do the standard thing, tries to run away, and you'll think, well, he gets me here. True, but he's lingering in the air, he starts lagging, and his generator busts somewhere in this area. Now, Coral Gen bust, they recover and move on. Now, neither one of us have lost enough AP to really maintain the lead, so he's got to come try it again. I shouldn't have shot the laser from the shotgun, I should have just fired a regular blast, and this is where you'd assume he has the advantage. And for the moment, you're right. He made a lot of good decisions, and I made a very stupid decision by taking thousands of missiles to the face. However, that coral generator only works well for so long, and there it went. And there goes his AP. As Robot Mech Professor me says, there we go. He's now playing my game whether he wants to or not. This is pretty basic, to be honest. And this RJ I feel like is kind of bad. I just like it. And either, yeah, there you go. He's got a lot of lag, but I was able to maintain the AP lead. And I don't know how the lag was on his end. Speaking of which, bro, if you're watching this and you see who it is, I'm sorry. I don't know if your connection wigged out on you or what, but it happens sometimes. So condolences to that. If that's something that caused it to be weird on your end, you know, not gonna hold that against you. That said, we have more of the same. Pillar farming, AP lead maintaining, missile dodging, classic stuff against these guys. We just have to focus more on the bullet hell shooter than the actual opponent. Second time I put a bazooka into a pillar like a dum-dum. Now right here I thought I should press him, but he came to me, so I didn't need to go anywhere. This is probably the worst mistake he made the entire game. Yes, I'm down, but he's gone. And by getting stunned, kind of fell into his own trap. On this particular game, you're going to see what happens when you have to fight a dual Zimmerman build with this type of AC. I went in with my basic plan, yo-yo myself in, go forward, come back, let the missiles do their thing, throw a bazooka or a shotgun round out here and there, try to get an ACS break so you can do the punish. Very classic, very normal. I threw some kicks in, I think on round 2 when I was trying to scrap, but failing miserably. Now at this point, I'm thinking to myself, how do I fight this? Because I honestly still don't have a good idea. Zimmerman builds are just rough for me when it comes to playing lights, because you get your entire AP bar taken off in one break. And if it's a good Zimmerman build, you're only really buying yourself time with the shield. Now notice I got them down about a fifth of their AP. Maybe a sixth or something was gone, that's it. They still got most of their AP left. Second round's going to be very much the same situation. I hate to spoil it for you, but it should be obvious at this point. Same game plan, try to change some things up, be cheeky. It didn't work because I honestly just didn't think I had a shot at winning, and it looks like I don't. And it turns out I was right, as I am already almost dead. So I had to adjust my thinking with this. How do I approach a Zimmerman build with the project? Now, I still really, truthfully don't know what I really changed here. I just know that I knew that I had to change the way I approached this. This is the second time I fought the same person. It was a couple of matches after the last one. And going into this, I knew I had to approach it different, but I didn't know what I wanted to do. So I started my default. Start missiles at range and try to get away from cheeky. It fails because I clip some cover. And then this ends up happening. Now, as a lightweight pilot, this is pretty standard. You get rolled, you're just kind of used to it at this point, and there's really not a whole lot you can do about it. In this case, I managed to get a really good punish off and set up my shield for defense. Now that shield's not the greatest, people want to bag on it, but it's not the worst. Now I would have to theoretically chase them, but since they have Zimmermans, they're just going to come after me. And of course they have full shield, and you can guess how the rest of this fight goes. That said, take a look at their AP. Same player, same ACs, same night, few games different. They have 1/4 of their AP left versus the first match you saw. Learning progress. So, before you have an AC that you play and you think is just terrible, it might be more complicated, it might be different, it might be weird, it might not be good, it might not be better, I guess is the best way to put it. But it can be, air quotes, viable. Now, we're not talking about tournaments, of course, that's a whole different bag. You bring your best to that, whatever the best is, what you better play. But in terms of online ranked, you have a little bit of leeway with that. And if you're careful, you can get away with quite a bit. Now, my focus on evasion, made sure I was dodging as many zins as possible, best I can tell from this replay. And it's one of those scenarios where I went as far as I could on offense. Again, about a 4th down before they popped the shield. In 2 matches, I think it was in between the first and this one, I improved that much against the same player. Do not give up on your weird designs. Understand that they're strange, but it's possible to make some of them work. Now this is a player who, again, redacted for reasons. If you recognize him, you recognize him. If he recognizes me, hi. Cool to see you in ranked. That said, I'm fairly certain I won this because he's running some weird Scootum shenanigans on the quad. Because I know better. But it was a fun fight regardless, so I had to include it. The absolute lunacy of this, from my perspective, was I did not, under any circumstances, want to take a single shot from the Wurg. Those of you who are not new to the channel know that I am, at this point, somewhat known for the 20B Wurger, or VE20B Wurger combos. And as cheesy as it might be, nothing says stay away from me like two Wurgers 1-2 punching someone. This RJ's armor is made of paper and ants holding hands. So, despite the fact that's strong for ants, it's not for armor, and I wanted nothing to do with this thing's close quarters potential. The missiles are a mixed bag because when it comes at me, I have to do something. I can't ignore it. However, this also might be a situation where my build was uniquely well suited to fighting that Scootum setup. My missiles typically come in from behind on faster opponents chasing me. Or at least the side or awkward angle, something that might not come. Javelin beta things, I suppose. But that is something I look for. It's always been something. I would prefer vertical missiles as well, but we all know those are bad. Either way, it's a cool AC to see. The Scootum with the Wurger is always going to be something I think's funny. And, I mean, what else you got, right? Anyway, guys, this is it for the commentary section. We're going to hit the outro. Catch you later.